Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
You got 8 seconds to prove you're worth the price of admission. And you got Baylor Scott and White Health along for the ride. So square up. You got this.
RJ's Bargain Center is your home team for appliances at unbeatable prices. From refrigerators to washers, dryers to stoves, you'll find brand new appliances with huge discounts. And just like your favorite local teams, RJ's is proud to support our community and local sports. Score your savings today at RJ's Bargain Center, 711 Lynn Street, Waco. Call 254-224-6178. RJ's Bargain Center, where big savings are always a home run.
I've looked back at MCC with all these kids coming out here, these men and women starting their lives out here, starting their dreams and their visions of what they want to do for their family. It's the foundation for our community.
The plan is to go win.
Yes, sir.
Our girls set a goal that they wanted to win a national championship. They wanted to win a conference championship. That's been on the table from day one. And now we put ourselves in the position to do that.
Pitch hit in the air and deep to left field. Going back is Rayvon Morgan at the wall. He leaps and he makes the catch for the third out.
On the line, too much to give in. If you think it's over, then let's start it again. The planets alive, the stars burn bright, the sun goes down, we keep going all night. Going back down, the moment is now. Don't miss out, we're never turning around. That is your
Going back to him, get good. It'll go all the way to the wall. One run is scored. Round in the third, coming home to score is Aiden Cooney.
Catch me if you can. We're renegades.
It's this one here in right field. It is treetop call and over the wall.
We're renegades. We're renegades. We're renegades. Listen up, listen up.
Hits the first pitch down the right field side. That's going to be it. Touching third and coming home is the winning run, Carson Croca. Give a RBI double to Blake Hansen. And the Highlanders walk it off and win by a score of 10-9.
We're renegades. Yeah. Yeah. Rappers really don't want beef with me. Trust me, I can beat you easily. Suckers get DDT'd. I've been swinging for the fences since I was in Little League. I make they nut like a guillotine. Ooh, Langston Hughes with the verses. Hook something like a ring, though. Baby girl, I ain't got time to chase you. I've been chasing dreams, whoa. I'm going crazy like I'm daylight, yeah. I'm a crossover gang, AI, yeah. We be skipping over all of your verses just like the CD wouldn't play right, yeah. I already know if the beat is bananas, it's only right that I can wait on it, yeah. Going crazy like I'm daylight, yeah. I'm a crossover gang, AI, yeah. We be skipping over all of your versions just like the CD wouldn't, ay, yeah. Going crazy like I'm daylight, yeah. I'm a crossover gang, AI, yeah. We be skipping over all of your versions just like the CD wouldn't play right, yeah. Going crazy like I'm daylight, yeah. I'm a crossover gang, AI, yeah.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and Audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis, getting ready to bring you through the primetime topics in sports, not just here in the Central Texas area, but from all around the nation. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here on this Football Monday, as we've got a great show planned for you today. Obviously, high school week 2 is just wrapped up. We've got college football week 2 just wrapped up, and we just had our opening week in the NFL that's getting ready to finish up tonight. Minnesota Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears tonight at 7. We'll give you guys some coverage and some breakdown for the Monday night game, and we'll be recapping high school football, college football, and NFL football here today, folks. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. As always, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Centex Sports Network / Centex Sports TV. Hit that subscribe button. Like and share the stream. Let everybody know what's going on here as we're getting ready to break down, like I said, some high school, some college, and NFL football. Full Football Monday here today, as we've got all 3 levels here to break it down, and we're ready to bring that to you guys. Make sure you go over and visit our website as well, CentexSportsNetwork.com. That is CentexSportsNetwork.com. You'll be able to catch all of our content, especially our live content, as we have MCC Volleyball that you guys got to see last week. That is starting up again on Wednesday. They'll be playing Temple College on Wednesday, so make sure you guys get ready to tune in for that at 6 o'clock on Wednesday right here on Centex Sports Network. Go over to CentexSportsNetwork.com. Free subscription. Get signed up. Just need your name and your email, and we'll get you guys signed up. Well, folks, like I said, full day today, as we've got plenty of football to cover, all 3 levels. We get a chance to give you guys a recap on what just happened this past weekend, so we're going to jump right into it. Joining me here today on the set, as always, we've got the WISD Hall of Famer, former Texas Tech Red Raider, and former San Diego Charger, Mr. Wayne Walker, in the building with us. Wayne, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Central Texas?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, folks, we're going to get right into it. Like I said, plenty of football to cover, and I want to start on the high school level. This past Friday on Friday Night Flex, you got a chance to see me and Wayne breaking down some of these games. Now we're going to give you guys a little bit of a recap of what we just got to see. Starting it off, the team out of the South Side, the University Trojans, the U-Dogs, pull off a victory as they get back into the win column, 41-8, as they got a chance to play Granbury this past weekend. The U-Dogs came out focused, both sides of the ball, was able to get turnovers like we're used to seeing. They called themselves the no-fly zone in that defensive backfield before the season started. And they're leaving up to it now, as against Granbury. They were able to take the ball away multiple times in that game. The star receiver, London Smith, the 4-star that's committed to Baylor, got a chance to shine this last weekend. Didn't get a lot of action going, had about 5 or 6 catches in week 1. Well, in this game, he made up for 9 catches, 125 yards in this game to go along with 2 touchdowns receiving. Also ran in a touchdown as well from a short yardage situation, ending with 3 touchdowns total for the game as he was able to lead his team. The young quarterback, Savoy Nichols, played better in this game, 11 for 16, 121 yards with 2 touchdowns as well. And they were able to hold down the fort running the ball with Thomas getting 92 yards and a touchdown as well in the running game. So the U-Dogs get back in the win column. Like we said, guys, they weren't going to stay down long. They took a loss against Keller Central in week 1. This week was all about rebounding, getting back ready for the season, and they were able to do that, close out with the victory 41-8 on the road once again. Wayne, what do you think about the U-Dogs getting back in the win column again?
Well, they went out and done what everyone expected them to do.
Yeah.
Beat a team that beat one of their district rival, Waco High, that the previous week. So they were right back on track, and they seemed like they made a conscious effort to get Smith the ball this weekend, you know, saying, hey, we need to get it to our big play guys, put it in their hands, and let's see what happens. So, and they also played some really good, strong defense. So they went out and did what they were expected to do. So hopefully they're back on the right track. But when you go out and win a game, you are on the right track. So that'll breed a little confidence in their team, and and we'll see what they do this week coming up against China Springs, which will be a great game.
Yeah, that's going to be a really fun game. Them going against China Spring, a team we're going to talk about in just a second. But yeah, like you said, just getting back in the win column. I know after a loss, that's got to be the number one priority.
Oh, yeah,
in.
no doubt.
Let's just get a win, whether it's an ugly win, a pretty win, however we get the win. Let's just make sure we get back into the win column, especially when you got crosstown rival coming up in just a couple of days right after that.
Right. No doubt about it. I mean, you go out and you totally fumble the ball the first game.
Mm-hmm.
You go out and lose a game that everybody picked you to win, and you kind of smelling yourself a little bit. Everybody's saying this and that about you, and then you go out there and you lay an egg. So now you can get back and you can focus on what you really need to go out and do, and that's go out and play football, and you got to go play hard each and every down. So hopefully they're on the right track, and like you say, we'll see what's happening.
Yeah, this weekend they'll get a real test as they play a China Spring team who's also 1-1. Both of these teams will be looking to get a win. University coming off of a win, China Spring coming off of a loss. They're going to feel like, hey, this is really one of those games that's gearing you up and getting you ready for district, as we're already only a few weeks away from district play as well. Seeing the U-Dogs get back in the win column against Granbury, that was expected. Some of the things they'll have to work out going into this next game. If they can get their offense a little bit more in sync, I feel like their defense is starting to come together. The offense being able to get that good mix between the run and the pass game to be able to help out a young quarterback in Savoy Nichols. They took away a lot of his chances this week. They didn't let him throw the ball as many times, so he didn't have any turnovers in this week. Last week, or week one, he had 2 turnovers. Coming in this week, no turnovers. If they can keep that type of momentum going, playing against what's going to be a physical China Spring team as they play Bastrop this weekend, they've got to be able to match that physicality as well, and they've got to be able to continue to get their stars the ball. Like you said, it looks like they made an effort, and hey, we're going to get London Smith the ball. We're going to go through what are his 3 or 4 plays that he likes, and we're going to get him the ball and get it to him.
Right, but a real offense, you have to have balance.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have a run and a pass and attack. Most of the time, the run is set up to pass and vice versa. So, and you can also do play action once you do those type of things. But the best thing to do is have some balance to your offense, and we'll see if they'll take that next step forward, because we know they force-fed it to London Smith this weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But that's a good person. If you got a 4-star out there, that's a good person to force-feed it to.
Yeah.
So, but the main thing is they got on the right track. So now you can see the light a little bit, and so now they can start putting it all together. They know they can pass the ball. They know they got a 4-star outside on the outside, and so you got him. But what do you do when they start to double team this guy? So you got to have other options. You got to be able to run the ball. You have to have another receiver. So you have to have alternative things that you can do on your offense to make you look legitimate.
Yeah, they're going to have to throw some other wrinkles in there. Like the fact that they were able to run the ball this week once again. That's 2 weeks back-to-back where they have at least over 75 yards rushing. So that's always a good formula in getting your offense going, is being able to run the ball, giving your offensive line a chance to go and push somebody instead of having to back up and keep guys off your quarterback. Gives them a chance to actually go out and get some contact first. So that usually gets your offensive line engaged. Everybody starts to get engaged running the ball. Then you can break it down as you start to pass the ball with guys like Savoy. So the U-Dogs on the right track, as you said. Just getting back in the win column is always a priority, number one, when you're coming off a loss. This Friday, they've got China Spring. That is going to be a huge game, as it was last year at WISD Stadium. Both of us got a chance to go to that game when they played last year. That was a fun one that came all the way down to the wire. So can't wait to see those guys play against each other again this weekend. And one of the other big schools that got to win this weekend, the Midway Panthers, got back in the win column once again, 2-0 now as they get a victory 58-31 over Round Rock Cedar Ridge. This was led once again by their 2-headed rushing attack. We said it in week 1. This week again, they do the same thing. These 2 guys rush for over 300 yards in this game, and that is off of only 15 carries between the 2 guys, which was crazy. Lathan Washington, the 4-star running back, has got offers from everywhere. he had 5 carries, 135 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So almost every time he touched the ball, he was going to the house once again, similar to what we saw in week 1. And his backup, the young sophomore Jaden Fields-Vaughn, 10 carries, 178 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This has been a dynamic backfield through these first couple of games, and these guys are literally running their team 2 victories week in and week out once again. So Midway getting another big win. Coach Gillespie, his second year in the program, starting off on the right foot. They're 2-0, and it's led by the running game. Wayne, what do you think about these 2 dynamic backs doing it again?
Like I told you Friday night, that's thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got a 2-headed attack, man, they don't know which way you're attacking. You got 2 guys, you got 2 bell cows, and then you got 1 big play, 10 carries for over 170-something yards. That means every time he's touching the ball, he's getting over 10 yards, almost 10 yards to carry. So that's good, and both of these guys got speed. And the most important thing is the run game. It translates. You can take it anywhere. You can go anywhere. You can play on turf. You can play on grass, and you can run. You can run in any inclement weather, snow, rain, whatever. Passing, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So they're letting their linemen get involved in the trenches, and that's what the linemen like to do. They like to run block. They don't want to pass block because you have to move. But when you get to run over somebody and you get to mull somebody, then that's great. And the best thing about what Midway is doing, they did it twice on the road. They did it at a neutral site the week before, and then they go back on the road. They went on the road this weekend, and they won. So it's giving those young guys some experience to go on the road and get a feel for that, and then they're winning. So that's a great thing for Midway.
Yeah, Midway's off to a hot start right now. Like I said, they're the top team really classification-wise within the greater Waco area as they're going into 6A once again this year. Starting off 2-0 is big for these guys because these games are going to matter as they get down further into district. You got to play the Harker Heights. You got to play the Shoemakers. You got to play the Temples. So getting these wins out of the way early, knowing you got a tough road ahead of you in your district is always important for these guys. Seeing these 2 running backs be able to do it on minimal amount of touches, that's the best part about this. They're not getting hit a lot. Washington got like 7 carries, I believe, in the first game. He got 5 carries in this one and still turned 3 touchdowns. Jaden Fields-Vaughn, believe he got about 10 or 11 carries in the first game, got 10 carries in this one, goes over 150 yards both times. Yeah. So these guys aren't having a big tax on their body throughout these first couple of games. You're almost going into week 3 kind of fresh.
Yeah, right, because you're not getting hit. You just sprint. You just seem like they just sprint down the field, man. So, which is a good thing for Midway, man. I mean, look like they got some guys out there, man. They taking a run serious and they putting it in they big play guys' hands. So good for Midway. I like that. I mean that's old school football.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it's a common theory between both these teams that just won. We talked about running the football. Last week or week 1, China Spring rushed for 400 or 500 yards and they won. This week Midway rushes for 300 or 400 yards again. And they're able to win. So it looks like running the ball a common theme. They got another Thursday game. Like I said before, they start the season off with 3 Thursday games, and they all play an Austin team. So they're going down to Austin getting some work right now. They'll be headed back to the Austin area. They'll play Leander Rouse this Thursday once again. I believe that game is at 7 o'clock. So we'll be tuning in to look forward to seeing if Midway can start off the season 3-0, probably for the first time in a few years. It's been since these guys have been able to start 3-0. So great job for Midway. They're building off the momentum of their athletic program right now. The baseball team won state, the softball team backdoor in one state off of that. Right. So they got a lot of momentum going on in their athletic department right now at the Midway Panthers. So looks like we'll see them keeping it up right now. As we go down to District 12, as we talk about the premier district in not only the Central Texas area, but one of the premier districts in all of football in the state of Texas, if we're talking about on the high school level in District 12. China Spring had a tough battle against Bastrop this past weekend. They lost this game 48-34 in this game, taking on a Bastrop team that's classification ahead of these guys, so they were punching up in this one. But, Wayne, we were looking in while we were on the show on Friday. This was a back-and-forth battle really the whole game. China Spring would take the lead. Bastrop would take the lead. It came down to the last few possessions where Bastrop was able to hold off China Spring, come back in the lead, because at one point in the fourth quarter, China Spring was up in that game by a touchdown, I think about 10 points. And then all of a sudden we see Bastrop come back, take the lead, and then they keep going once they take the lead, extend the lead out to 14 points as they come out with a 48-34 victory. China Spring got a big win last week, coming in, playing another tough opponent in Bastrop that wanted some revenge from last year when they won 27-24. Weren't able to come out on top, but they're moving forward and getting ready for this next week against University as well. We know these non-district games, these don't count towards your record. This doesn't count towards you going to the playoffs. These are just simply ready, getting you for district and getting you ready for the playoff run right after that. So China Spring will be in good shape once again. Their star running back, Krishan Gregory, the young sophomore, had 149 total yards in this game and a couple of touchdowns as well. Just wasn't enough to get China Spring over the hump. What do you think about China Spring losing to Bastrop and then their game against University this weekend?
Well, when we had it on Friday Night Flex, we were kind of checking out that game, and I think Midway was up about 12 points at the end of the third quarter. Well, now what you got to do is you got to go out and you have to close games. And they just didn't do that. They didn't go out and close the game. Yeah. I think they let Bastrop score. They didn't score anymore, and they let Bastrop score another 21 points or so. So, like you said, they moved up and they played a class above them. So it's hard to go out there but you just got to know how to close games, man, because they had that game in their hand, and who knows what adjustments were made, but they had a couple of turnovers. They had a turnover once, and they scored on it. Then they had a turnover that was on the end of the field in the third quarter, at the end of the third quarter, that they didn't convert on. So you have to take care of those things, and that's what non-district does for you. It kind of helps you to see all those types of things and the things that you need to improve on, penalties, all kinds of things like that. But we know China Springs will always be okay. They are a real good disciplined team, and they have a tradition of winning. And they have a big one, like we say, on Thursday night, man. One of those teams is going to come out 1-2, and the other one's going to come out 2-1.
And that's what makes it fun, seeing these cross-town matchups like that, especially when both teams feel like we need to win. Yeah. Universities feeling like we need to win right now. China Spring feeling the exact same way. But I'm like you. I'm not worried about this China Spring team. They'll be able to fix those things. And as you said, this is what the pre-district is for. It's to be in these scenarios so you can have something to call back on and say, hey, remember we were up against Bastrop. We weren't able to close it out. We're going to talk some NFL later about some teams that weren't able to close the game out when they had the lead late in the game. But those are those things you learn from, especially with China Spring team has got a lot of young guys. Their quarterback's a sophomore in Jackson Knapp. Their running back's a sophomore in Krishan Gregory. So they'll be able to glean back on these things and say, hey, I remember that in week 2 when we messed up. I got a chance to watch that firsthand last year with La Vega. As we covered La Vega, they struggled against the West Orange Star team. I think had 3 or 4 turnovers in that game that led them to losing. They ended up having to play the exact same team in the third round of the playoffs, corrected all of those mistakes, and really blew out West Orange Star. I mean, it wasn't a close game in the second half. So those things matter in the pre-district. And Coach Betty, he's been in this China Spring program for a long time. He knows those things they have to fix to be able to get back to that standard that China Spring has. So I won't be worried about the Cougars at all as they move forward. But I am very interested to watch this game on Friday night against the University Trojans. That should be a really, really fun game. Yeah. University back on the road again as they'll be going to China Spring to be able to play this one. Right. Staying in District 12, the La Vega Pirates dropped a game against one of the top teams in the state in Salina. Salina Bobcats haven't lost a game in almost 2 years. Their last loss was in November of 2023. So we know what to expect out of this team. La Vega was kind of put at a disadvantage. I mean, you drive 3 hours and some change all the way to Salina just for the game to eventually get canceled on Friday. You got to pack up your stuff, go all the way back home, get up early Saturday morning and go try to do it again. So with that being done, the score wasn't a surprise to me. That's a lot to put on these kids, especially within the first couple of weeks, to have to get back up and do it all again. And then you're playing a formidable opponent. It's not like they're doing it and playing a bad team. They're playing a team that hadn't lost in 18 months. Right. So that's got a quarterback that's going to Oklahoma and a tight end that's going to Pittsburgh. So they're playing against some dogs whenever they go out there and play. So I wasn't surprised by this outcome for La Vega just because of the scenario and the circumstances of having to get right back on the road and go back out there. They met in a neutral site, but it was still about an hour, almost 2 hours away for La Vega to have to travel once again as they went back up there. So wasn't surprised a lot by the outcome. What do you think about La Vega dropping this game against us, the Bobcats?
Well, football is such a mental game, man.
Yeah.
When you're focused on playing a game on Friday night, and then that goes, and then that doesn't happen, you don't play it on that Friday night, then you travel 2.5 hours almost, and then you go someplace, and then you have to travel back. You warm up, you go through all this pregame ritual, and it doesn't happen. Then you drive back home, and then you have to prepare your mind to play the next day. That's tough for young kids, man. And then when you're in Salina, you just get to go home. You just get to drive home. You drive 5 minutes across town, and you're at home, and you get to go to bed or whatever you do.
Exactly.
So it was a mental thing. I think they were at a big disadvantage going back the next day and playing, and it showed. But I'm not worried about that. I like you said, La Vega took some tough losses last year, preseason wise, non-district wise. That's what they call it in high school. Non-district wise, they took some losses, and then they came back and they were in the state final. So expect that Salina is a tough hill to climb, and for them to put them on their schedule. Because when you put out your high school schedule, you get to schedule who you want to, and some teams just say no, I don't want that. I don't want that. But La Vega is not one of those teams that's going to back down from any type of competition, and they want that challenge, and it'll help them. It'll help them. Believe me, to play a tough team like Salina, man, it'll definitely help them.
It's nothing you can do but learn from that scenario, playing a top team like Salina. And like you said, the pre-district, the reason you see La Vega on the road in pre-district is because they have to go out to find these games to play. We've talked to Coach Hyde. Teams aren't just signing up to come and play La Vega.
They don't want to play
in week 1, 2, and 3 of their season. They got to go out and go play at Salina. They're back on the road again on Friday. They got to go way to Nacogdoches to play against West Orange Stark. This is where La Vega has to find games because a lot of the teams in this area, they're not signing up right away to just say, hey, let's go and play La Vega in week 1 or week 2 or week 3 of our season because of the powerhouse that La Vega has built over the years. They'll be fine as we go forward. We had these same conversations last year. Oh, they lose to a team that's ranked number 1, number 2 in the state, and people begin to panic. Coach Hyde is doing this for a reason. He's setting his guys up. Hey, go out there and make mistakes. Go out there and have some failures so that we can have something to teach on. And by the time we get to week 10, 11, 12,
that's what non-district is about. That's what non-district is about, man. You go out and you learn. You get your young players some type of experience. And then you're going on the road and playing these games, so you gain valuable experience when you go out and you do that. Like you say, La Vega will be all right. They got a team full of athletes, man, and like you said, nobody's signing up to play La Vega. That's what they have to do. They don't want that lopsided L, so they're not going to sign up to play La Vega, so they have to go on the road and do things, but they'll definitely be all right.
Yeah, look, this team will be just fine. This Friday, they're going back on the road. They got to go way down to Nacogdoches to play West Orange Stark. They try to meet at a neutral site as these two teams play. This will be their third meeting in just the last 2 years. So some animosity. Expect a little bit of animosity within there. West Orange Stark got their lick early in the season, but La Vega got them when it counted in the playoffs. A lot of these guys from West Orange Stark returning. They remember that team. They remember that against La Vega. They're saying, hey, let's try to go ahead and get these guys, especially with them having Vega got to get on the road and drive about 3 hours to get all the way to Nacogdoches.
When you play 2 games in one season, then you come back to play next year. That's called a rivalry. It started. So, it's definitely going to be some tension there.
Absolutely.
Expect a hard-played ball game, and both of these teams are good. So, like you say, it's non-district, so we'll see what happens. And it's at a neutral site. Them La Vega Pirate fans will be there. And so will West Orange Stark.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one when those two meet up. Like you said, both got a real big fan base, first off. West Orange Stark, they'll travel. They came down here to La Vega last year. They'll go ahead and travel. So it was fun seeing those guys, getting to see these guys play for a third time, like I said, in just 2 years. Looks like we got ourselves a rivalry brewing. That game is at 7 o'clock this Friday. One more before we go into some of my players of the week, and also in District 12, Robinson getting a big win over Caldwell. This Robinson team, as I told you guys last week, starting to become one of my favorite teams to watch in this Central Texas area. As we were watching the game, it was started off tied at 14 apiece, I believe, at the end of the first quarter. Neither team was punting. They were both coming out striking. And I said, Robinson's going to have to get that wedge and drive that wedge in between these two. And throughout the rest of the game, that's exactly what they did. Caldwell didn't score another point. Robinson scored almost every single drive. They got the ball after that. This is a dynamic offense led by Bryce McCurdy, the quarterback that's been getting offers from everywhere, and mainly led by their running back, senior running back, Evan Marino, who had another great game, chipped in with 18 carries, 217 yards, and 3 touchdowns in this game. Once again, another great running attack by this Robinson team and by Evan Marino. They've got receivers that can make plays. They got a real dual-threat quarterback that can make plays as well. And this time, their defense stepped up and said, hey, we're going to shut the water off of Caldwell and really play well throughout the rest of the game. We talked about this Robinson team last week, Wayne. What do you think about the Rockets, man, and this dynamic offense they've had so far?
I mean, everybody we talked about, is basically that won this weekend had a 1-2 punch, man. I mean, you when you have a quarterback and you have a running back, and you have a running back that's the last 2 years prior to this had over 1,000 yards, and then he's coming back now. He's a senior, man. Hey, what more can you ask for? Like you say, they hadn't even had to throw the ball because they've been dependent on the run. So I wouldn't put it in the air if I don't have to. So Robinson has a dynamic rushing attack, and we'll continue to see what they do moving forward. But I think that's what they'll be dependent on. I think that's their big piece of the pie, and we'll see them do that for the rest of the year.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun team to watch as we get further and further. That once we get into district play, I mean, you're going to have to strap it up every single week when you're playing against these guys, because you got the Robinsons, you got the Gatevilles, who also won this weekend. You've got China Spring, Conley, La Vega. That District 12 is going to be a monster. Robinson is going to be right in that mix as they were last year to be able to win that district title, and it's mainly because of their two-headed monster they got on the offensive side in Bryce McCurdy and Evan Marino. When you come back after a 1,000-yard season, you think, hey, it can only be up from here. You want to be able to improve on what you did from last year. Evan Marino already out to doing that. Almost 200 yards in both of his first 2 games. So Evan Marino really having himself a great season so far, as we expected. And so are these Robinson Rockets, as they're already 2-0, getting closer into district play. Want to do a couple of my players of the week, Wayne, and I'll tell you what, see what you think about a couple of these guys that had some great games this past weekend. Some of them we already talked about. First, I want to go over to Fairfield, who had a rivalry game, one of their biggest rivalry games. They played Mahia this past weekend, and they blew them out of the water 66-0 in this game. But their quarterback, Cole Collins, came out and played great. 18 for 20 in this game, 291 yards, and 5 touchdowns.